Shield Hill Castle. Ever heard of it? Well, it's beautiful, it's luxurious, and it's packed with history. And it looks great here in the rolling hills of the Scottish countryside. A little bit like the Genesis GV70 Electrified. Now this car's got lots of key features which make it stand out from its competitors, and we're going to cover them throughout the course of this video. This is Arnold Clark YouTube channel, and I'm Duncan Vincent. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a notification or an upload from us. So first things first, it's not uncommon for an EV to have a huge kick of acceleration. It really is something special, and Genesis, I have to say, they take the prize for this class of car. It comes with a 180 kilowatt motor on the front and the back, effectively making this vehicle four-wheel drive. Now we experienced the same kind of kick with the GV60. Remember, it pins you to the back of the seat and away you go. And this car does exactly the same, even though it's a bit bigger. And if you've been used to driving petrol or diesels, well, you're in for a bit of a shock. The Genesis GV70 Electrified comes with 429 brake horsepower as standard. Hit that boost button in the middle of the steering wheel and it gives you 483 brake horsepower for 10 seconds. And it'll do 0 to 62 in 4.2 seconds. It's eye-wateringly fast. Now the launch test, we're not going to bother doing that. Everybody launches from 0 to 62 these days. 0 to 62 challenge accepted. Right, we're ready to go. We're in sport mode. We've got the boost button here. My man in the back is timing it with the official Arnold Clark iPhone. 3, 2, 1, go. Yee mama! Oh! I see. That's something special, that is. Everybody okay? 4.9. 4 what? 4.9? Need to try it again. 3, 2, 1, go. 20, 30, 40, 50, 62. 4.68. Not bad, carrying a little bit of extra weight. Can we do it again? Now for those of you who are still unfamiliar with Genesis, they're the luxury brand of South Korean vehicle manufacturer Hyundai Motor Company, and they entered the UK car market in 2021 with the G80 Executive Saloon and the GV80 large SUV. Following in quick procession was the GV60, an electric-only SUV, which we tested earlier in the year, and the extremely popular G70, which was initially only available with a 2.5 litre turbo petrol engine or a 2.2 litre diesel engine. Since it's built on the same platform as the petrol and diesel, it doesn't look as EV as some of the electric SUVs that are out there just now. In fact, its only distinguishing feature that it shares with its internal combustion counterpart is the G-Matrix grille. This one's solid. The other car, well, it's got the holes in the grille because the radiator is behind it. Now that might appeal to you if you're not into the more futuristic designs that some of the modern EVs have got. Ioniq 5, I'm looking at you. Looking closely at the badge, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this is an Aston Martin or a Bentley. After all, Luc Donkervolk, the former chief designer at Bentley, now designs the Genesis cars. This is meant to symbolise the front of the vehicle. The two wings out the side, that's the headlamps. And then the shield for the Genesis takes you down through the actual grille. A+ for design on that one, Genesis. And also, your charging flaps down the front. Now if you can get your hands on a 350 kilowatt ultra rapid charger, you can charge the 77.4 kilowatt hour battery from 10 to 80% in as little as 18 minutes. On a 50 kilowatt fast charger, this can take as little as 73 minutes. And that will get you a WLTP estimate of 280 miles in range. Although real world, I think it's probably closer to around 225 miles of range, depending on how you drive the car. The GV70 can come with 19-inch wheels, or you can upgrade to 20-inch alloy wheels like we have got here. For £630, the full 20s come in the car. But bear this in mind with an EV, you do lose some range when you put on the bigger wheel, depending on the time of year and also how you drive. The GV70 also offers a small frunk with around 25 litres of space and 542 litres of boot space. Plenty of room for the golf clubs or whatever else you need. And for an additional £900, you can have the option of the vehicle to load package, ideal for powering the kettle on your next camping trip. Speaking of options, how many versions of the car can you get? One. Just one. To keep it simple, Genesis offer the GV70 in sport. Apart from exterior colour, the shape of the car will never change no matter how much money you spend on it. There's a degree of metallic and matte finishes which you can have. The one we have here, Macalo Grey. And Genesis offer a number of packages for your GV70, so you can fine tune it just however you like it. Speaking of packages, let's start with the innovation pack because that's what we have here. It'll add round about £3,600 onto your bill, but what does it give you? Well, it gives you the 12.3-inch 3D cluster TFT display, heads-up display as well, and a 360 camera. It also comes with some fabulous safety features. It gives you highway driving assist, intelligent front headlights. It also comes with remote parking assist. The car will effectively park itself. The car comes with a Lexicon audio package which gives you 15 Harman Kardon speakers inside here that come with road noise cancelling technology, which is inverted sound waves, kind of like your noise cancelling speakers, but we don't need to go there, that's for sure. If you remember, the GV60, well, it had Bang & Olufsen. Effectively, they're the same company, but for different sizes of cars, you require different sound systems. It also comes with a 14.5-inch nav screen here, which is touchscreen, or you can use the rotation switch. It's got all the things you would expect to have in it. It's got Apple CarPlay, it's got Android Auto, and it's got screen mirroring as well. Now, I've used quite a few of these systems that have got the rotation switch, and I have to say, the Genesis one seems a lot easier than others to use. We find ourselves in the back of the car, plenty of room, very comfortable, and a nice place to be. Now, it is based on a petrol and diesel platform, remember, so you do have a hump in the floor down there. It's also quite high up in the market, so you've got climate control here for you, a couple of USB chargers down the bottom housed away there, and you've also got a nice armrest here as well with a couple of drinks holders in the front of that. You have got ISOFIXes, as you would always expect. One thing I'm not sure of though is this, the cream seat belt. It's a tiny thing.
This particular version also has the Comfort package, which gives you heated and ventilated seats with a massage function and a heated steering wheel. For £2,350, you can upgrade to the beautiful Napa leather, but the standard leather that we have still gives you a very premium feel.
So all in, you're looking at £80,000 to £85,000 for the GV70 electrified. You put that up against the BMW iX and also the Audi Q8 e-tron, you really start to see the value for money shining through. Now don't worry, this car does start at £65,000 and you can also pick up the petrol or diesel version for £41,000. So there's something to work with everybody's budget. Oh, that reminds me. At Arnold Clark, we've got over 20,000 new and used vehicles for you across the UK. So there's something for absolutely everybody. Head to arnoldclark.com and see what you can find, even brand new Genesis. However, if you want to configure your own Genesis with your own packages and build it from scratch, you need to head to genesis.com.
Now where Genesis really start to set themselves apart is their 5-year care plan, which includes 5-year warranty, scheduled servicing, where they'll collect your car and return it and provide a courtesy car in the meantime, 24/7 roadside assistance and over-the-air software updates to keep all your infotainment and navigation up to date at no extra cost.
You have 3 modes in this car. You've got Eco, Comfort and Sport. When you're driving along in Eco mode, you'll notice that everything's just a little bit more chilled out and relaxed. The throttle response, when you're just touching that throttle, it's nice and smooth, almost like a little bit of a cushion, and it predominantly goes in rear wheel drive. Flick it in a Comfort, as we do there, pull back on the switch, and straight away it becomes a little bit more heightened, but not too aggressive. It also starts to offer you, when you put your foot down, 4-wheel drive, and it has a bit more get up and go. Then flick it back into Sport mode, and hold on, simple as that. 4-wheel drive on tap all the time, 429 brake horsepower on tap all the time as well. And really everything is just heightened. The whole car feels a little bit more aggressive. Tiny touches in the throttle pedal has a big effect on what you're doing inside the car.
The GV70 Electrified is the first Genesis EV to have e-terrain mode. This offers 3 additional modes that are tuned to muddy, snowy and sandy conditions. Now I can safely say sand is not an issue for my commute, but it's good to know it's there if needed. Mud and snow, however, could be a factor for some of you, especially if you're lucky enough to deal with the forever changing weather conditions we have here in Scotland. Since it's the height of summer and snow is scarce, let's give the mud mode a quick try.
We've gone into e-terrain mode, we pushed our button down, and we've gone to mud mode, and although it's not the muddiest of tracks, it is pretty wet and slippy, and it's also a little bit lumpy. And what this vehicle does for you is it lets you drive across these very, very tricky parts nice and calmly. It redistributes the power to each wheel, so it won't have your wheel spinning up a muddy slope. You won't be out of control. And it navigates this kind of swampy, horrible area that we're going through. Is it a Land Rover? No. It's not trying to be a Land Rover, but it does handle the muddy conditions really well. Now I'm told the best way to drive your EV is actually to try and have it in full sail mode, so you don't really have a lot of regen. But I don't like that, and I don't necessarily agree, because I like to use my regen paddles, especially in this. You can actually use the increased regen as a handbrake. Just pull it, keep a hold of it, and it will slow you down gradually as you come towards a junction. It's a really, really cool method of not having to use the pedals all the time. But you can also go between two. You can up the regen, you can minimise your regen. Always use your regen. For me as a driver, the visibility is fabulous. I'm that kind of guy who wants an SUV now. I'm an SUV kind of guy. I like to be a bit higher, but when I'm in here I get the seat as low as I can go. So it's kind of a weird situation to be in. Comfort is a big thing when you're driving these cars. Now this is 2.3 tonnes, it's quite a big car. And a lot of people talk and moan and comment about body roll in SUVs. Now a vehicle this size is always going to give you a bit of body roll. In eco mode, you do feel the car tending to want to move about and roll a little bit. Put it in sport mode and it tends to tighten it all up and it becomes a lot more direct and responsive. There are two trains of thought there. If you're in eco mode, you have nice suspension that comes pliable with the road surface. If you're in sport mode and your suspension is too tight, you might actually tend to skid across the top of the surface. So it's finding a happy balance, a happy medium. On the motorway, semi-autonomous driving. I've got my hands still on the wheel, you can't completely let go, and I can feel it just do micro adjustments to keep me in the perfect position in my lane. Okay, autonomous lane changes, on with the indicator, we've checked our surroundings, and just gently peels you across from one lane to another, straightens you up. That's almost a bit too far for Duncan. That's almost a bit too far. That felt strange for me. Is autonomous driving for you? Would you give it a shot, or do you think it's just a little bit too freaky where you're not quite holding the wheel and the car's correcting it for you? I think it's a fabulous thing. If you've got it, give it a shot and use it. So now for the elephant in the room. Are you willing to spend £85,000 for a car that doesn't have the same reputation and gravitas as its German rivals? I think the best way to sum up the GV70 electrified is it's a fabulous all-rounder. With its 5-year care plan, the way it drives on the road, the sportiness that it has justifies the £85,000 price tag. I've been Duncan Vincent. This is the Arnold Clark YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and give us some comments in the box below about the GV70 electrified. And until next time, safe driving.